Hello everyone, I'm Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hello, nice to meet you. Today I have a short and sweet classical Pilates flow, really going back to the fundamentals. So this is perfect if you are a beginner and you're just trying to figure out what Pilates is and dabble before you commit, or you just want to kind of reacquaint yourself with the foundations of classical Pilates. Regardless, it's going to be a fun little flow. So let's get started. So today we're going to get started on our backs in relaxation. And this just means we're on our back with our legs bent, soles of the feet on the ground, about hip-width distance apart. And you're just going to have your hands, your arms long down by your sides on the mat. And let's just start with a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So you're going to push your tailbone into the mat, scooping your pelvis, and then you're going to go the other way. So arching that lower back, pushing the pelvis towards the ceiling so that you're sort of exaggerating that space in your lower back. And we're just gonna do this a couple times, really trying to isolate the movement in the lower back. Your ribs are still, for the most part, making contact with the surface of the mat. You might lift a little bit just by nature of your pelvis moving. And then we're just going to settle somewhere in the middle. So this is what we call our neutral pelvis and spine. So what it should feel like is essentially a little blueberry underneath the space in your lumbar. You just have enough space for a small berry. You don't want to crush it, so you want to leave that space there. Okay, and the back of your ribs are actively pressing into the mat, so there is core engagement. All right, so let's start with some rib cage closure. So you're gonna sweep your arms up, reaching towards the ceiling, and then you're going to continue sweeping your arms back towards the back of the room while you actively press the back of your ribs into the mat. Okay, so you want that contact between the back of your ribs and the mat to persist as you move your arms. And then you're just going to bring your arms back up towards the ceiling and then back alongside your body. So inhaling to reach your arms up, exhaling to bring your arms back. Your core kicks in to keep that spinal and pelvis alignment. Your arms are just hovering a few inches off the ground, ears away from your shoulders, and then you're gonna swing your arms up on an exhale, and then bring your arms down on an inhale. Just breathe. That's the most important thing about Pilates, is that you're breathing. Let's just do 3 more like this. Going nice and slow, really almost challenging yourself to feel when your abs kind of need to come in and kick in to really support that spinal alignment. 2. And then one last one. Lovely. And so we're gonna go into our hip curls. And this is to sort of exercise our hip flexors and our legs and just make sure that we're nice and mobile. It's a good sort of like warm-up type of exercise. So hands are back alongside your body, making sure that you have firm footing, and you're just going to tuck that tailbone, okay? So tailbone curls into the mat, and you're gonna send your hips up as you peel your spine up bone by bone until you're roughly on your shoulders. So you're forming one long line from your knees to your chest, and your ribs are soft. So we don't wanna be puffing or sinking. It's just there along for the ride, nice and soft, no tension. That's what you want to feel. And then starting from the ribs, it's going to come down, melting down your spine, starting from the ribs, the mid-back, the lower back, keeping that tuck in the pelvis until it returns all the way to the ground. And then you're refinding that neutral. So you're finding that little space in your lower back. before you go again. So exhaling to tuck that tailbone and send your hips all the way up. You're gonna inhale at the top, big, nice, deep breath, filling your ribs, the sides, the back. And then exhale to come down, really using your core strength to keep that movement nice and slow and controlled. And next time, you come into that hip curl, you're sending your hips up. You're gonna sweep your arms up and back, just like you did in that previous exercise in ribcage closure. Okay, taking care to keep everything completely still. And then keeping your arms reaching towards the back, you're going to melt your spine all the way back down, bone by bone, going nice and slow, untucking that tailbone, refinding neutral, and then bringing your arms down. So let's just do 3 more like this in your own time. Really, again, trying to assess at which point your core needs to kind of like kick in to give that extra added support when your arms are hovering above the ground. Let's just do one last one. Making sure your shoulders are away from your ears, there's no tension in your neck, in your face. Lovely. And when you've finished up, you're going to clasp your hands behind your head. Your elbows are in your peripherals, so in the corner of your eyes, because you want your scapula to be snug against your upper shoulders. And you're just going to nod your head into a curl up, looking between your thighs, and then you'd come all the way back down, nice and slow. And exhaling to come up, again, only going as far as you can without losing that neutral pelvis and spine, and then inhaling to come back down. And on your next exhale up, you're gonna curl up, you're gonna extend your right arm towards your heels, then your left, keeping that curl up, and then you're gonna replace your hands back behind your head before coming back down. So again, exhaling to come up, and you're gonna alternate your starting hand. So left hand comes out, comes forward, then it's the right hand, then you replace the left hand, replace the right hand, and then come all the way down. Let's just do 2 more like this. Really making sure that there's no strain in your neck. It's your ab and your spine, the shape of your spine, that is keeping you in this curl up position. It may help to tuck your chin just slightly. And once you've evened out, you're going to come back up into that curl up again, and you're going to extend your arms. And this time we're going to work our obliques. So moving from the side, you're going to reach your right fingers towards your right heels, and then straighten back out. And then onto the other side, exhaling to move from the side of your waist. Your fingers are floating closer to your heels, and then you're coming back. We're not here for long. Let's just do 2 more on each side. 1. And then slowly roll back down. Very nice. That was a good little core segment, so very good job. So again, your arms are back alongside your torso. And one at a time, you're going to float your leg up into double knee fold or tabletop, okay? And again, we're only bringing it in as far as you can without losing that space in your lumbar. You still want that little space for the blueberry, and the back of your ribs are still heavy and in contact with the mat. And your knees are making this sort of 90-degree angle. We're gonna do some toe taps. So you're gonna send your left leg down towards the mat, keeping that 90-degree angle, hinging from the hips, only as far as you can, as you guessed it, as you can without changing the shape of that neutral pelvis and spine. And then you're gonna bring the leg up. You're just gonna alternate and switch legs, dropping the right toes and then bringing it back. If you want to challenge your stability just a little bit more, you can bring your arms up towards the ceiling, and that'll just make your core work a little bit harder as you do these toe taps. Let's just do 3 more on each side. And of course, it does not have to touch the ground at all. That's not the point of this exercise. If it does, great. If not, you're still doing it correctly, and you're still working. Let's do our last ones. Nice. So you're going to extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. You can keep your arms still reaching towards the ceiling, or you can bring them back down. Doesn't matter. It's just going to challenge your stability a little bit more to keep your arms up. You're just going to lower that left leg as far down as you can without changing that alignment in your spine, and then you're going to bring it all the way back up. Okay, inhaling to come down, exhaling to come up. Or you can just breathe however you want, whatever, feels natural. Let's just do 3 more. 2. 1, keeping the back of the ribs nice and grounded. And then you're going to bend your left leg and then onto the right, extending the right leg, lowering the right leg down, and then bring it back up. You want to go nice and slow. Avoid sort of using momentum to fling your leg up and down, because then you're not working those deep muscles in your core that is working to obviously withstand the load of the leg, but also stabilize the alignment of your spine. Let's just do 1 more. Last one, best one. And then bring it back into tabletop. And then hug your knees in. Give a little side-to-side wiggle, whatever feels good. You can even rotate your knees in a circle. And reverse. Nice. So we're gonna set our feet back down one at a time. You're gonna turn to the side and push yourself up. So we're gonna go into 4-point kneeling. Let me just tie my hair up so it doesn't attack the microphone. I've made this joke, I think, in every single video. If someone has a good way of tying my hair up without it being in the way when I'm lying on my back, do let me know, because I haven't found a solution. Okay, so 4-point kneeling. We're going to be on our all fours. So wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips, about hip width distance. And again, paying attention to your neutral pelvis and spine. You want that sort of curve in your lower back. So you're gonna feel your tailbone kind of pop out just a tiny bit. You want that feeling. You don't really want to be rounded like this. You want that little dip in your lower back. The back of your neck, the back of your head is reaching up towards the ceiling. You have a soft bend in your elbow, so you're not locking at the elbows. And we're just going to do some rocking. So this is a really good exercise to sort of challenge keeping that alignment as you probably guessed it, rock back into space. So again, using that core to support that neutral pelvis and spine, that spinal alignment that you just found, you're just going to hinge back, moving from the shoulders, from the hips, only as far back as you can without losing that neutral pelvis and spine, and then bringing it back into start position, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. So exhaling to push back, into this rocking position, and then inhaling to come back forwards. Let's just do 4 more like this, really paying attention to when your core needs to kick in to keep that neutral pelvis and spine in alignment. Let's do 2 more. One. Nice. Now, if you were feeling a bit tired in this position, feel free to make fists or take rest at any time. It can be quite sore in the wrists in the beginning, but you will build strength. And ironically, the next exercise is going to be a little bit challenging, but it will, well, it's meant to build a bit of strength within your wrists so that you can be in this position for a longer time. So again, you're in 4-point kneeling, finding that alignment, and you're gonna curl your toes underneath, okay? We're gonna do some knee hovers. So on an exhale, you're going to lift your knees just a few inches off the mat, just for a few seconds, and then bring it back down with control. So let's just do this a few more times. Exhaling to find that hover, and then inhaling to lower. Let's do 3 more of these. Taking care to keep that neutral pelvis and spine, keep that spinal alignment as you find that knee hover. Last one, you're gonna stay up and you're just gonna hover your knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower gently with control. Nice. You're gonna flatten your feet so the fronts of your feet are now back flat on the mat. And we're gonna do some tabletops, which is different from the other tabletop. So you're going to draw your right leg out behind you, okay, keeping the toes on the mat. You're keeping your weight as centered as possible. So you wanna sort of avoid leaning over. You want your chest and your hips to be completely square with the mat. And then you're going to lift that leg long behind you, thinking long more than high, because again, we want to keep our weight as centered as possible. And then you're gonna bring your toes back down, and then slide your knee back under your hips. And then we're just gonna alternate legs. So exhaling to slide your leg out, inhaling to find that lift, exhaling to lower, and then inhaling to bring your knee in. Now you can stay there, but if you kind of want to add a bit more coordination and balance, we can add opposite arms. So as you draw your right leg out, and then you're going to lift the right leg and the left arm at the same time. They're reaching in opposite directions, and then you lower everything, and then slide your knee back under your hips. Same thing, left leg comes out, right arm floats up with the left leg at the same time. Again, keeping everything square to the mat. You lower your toes, lower your arm, and then you bring your left knee back under your left hip. Let's just do 3 more on each side. You're going nice and slow, because if you rush this, there's no chance that your alignment will stay intact. So as you move through this, take stock of when your abs need to work a little bit harder to keep everything else completely still. Let's just do last ones on each side. Make sure your head hasn't dropped towards the mat. The back of your neck is still nice and lifted towards the ceiling. You're not locking in the shoulders. And then once you've evened out, go ahead and press yourself back into a rest position. Maybe even give your wrist a little wiggle, a little swirl, a little rotation, because you've been on it for a long time, so. And then when you're ready, you're just going to push yourself forward into prone. So on your tummies. And I apologize in advance if this messes with my microphone. Okay. So you're going to make this sort of diamond shaped, make this diamond shape with your fingers, okay? And you're going to place it just on the mat. Your elbows are wide and your forehead is going to go in it. Now, if you place your forehead in it and it feels like your shoulders are really, really tight in the back, feel free to bring it out a few inches. I have very wide shoulder blades, so I actually need like a good 4 inches between my fingers for it to settle. So your forehead goes in between, your legs are out long in front of you, about hip width distance, and you just have a little bit of core engagement, just enough for it to be sort of active and ready to go. And we're going to find our chest extension. So brushing your nose up, you're going to lift your head, keeping the back of your neck long as you come up, perched onto your ribs, basically, keeping your chin nice and tucked. And then you're just going to melt your ribs, your chest, and then your head back down, okay? So you're really just looking for that expansion in your chest. It should not be going into your lower back. If you feel straight in your lower back, you're going up too high. So again, exhaling to brush your nose up, finding that chest expansion, collarbone radiating forward, inhale at the top, and then exhale to slowly come back down with control. Let's just do this a few more times. Coming up, finding that extension, really pushing your collarbones out, and then coming back down. And the next time you come up, you're just gonna stay there for a little bit, okay? Using that core, using that center to support your extension, you're going to quickly bring your hands up towards your forehead and then place it back down and then melt back down. So we're adding this quick hand hover. It's just for a few seconds. And you're really using all the little stabilization muscles in your core to help you hold that extension. Let's just do 2 more. And last one. And then you can have a little bit of a break. We just have one last quick thing, and then we are done for the day. So, keeping your hands where they are, we're going to slightly rotate our legs out. So our heels are coming in together and our toes are facing out, just slightly. So, again, turning on that core just a little bit, just to have that active engagement there. We're going to lift our right leg straight up towards the ceiling, keeping that slight rotation in your leg, and then bringing it back down with control. And then lifting the left, only just a few inches off the ground, and then lowering it with control. So it's just hovering a few inches off the mat. Your legs are taking turns, we're alternating. Your glutes and your hip flexors are working to pick that foot up. Let's just do 3 more on each side. Try not to rush through it. 2. And then one last one. And you're just going to push yourself back into a rest position, just to give your back a bit of a counter stretch, especially in that lower back. And it should feel really nice anyway to just have a bit of a break, a nice little stretch in your spine. We've worked very, very hard to keep that spine in neutral for the past, I don't know how long, 15 minutes. And you just slowly roll up when you're ready into seated. All right. So let's bring our legs forward. So we will remain seated, but you're gonna have your legs in this sort of like long froggy position. You don't want it too close just because you want a little bit of space in your hip flexors. So kind of like a long diamond. I'm just gonna do some sitting cat and cows. So clasping your hands behind your head, again, elbows within your peripherals, the back of your neck nice and long. You're sitting up really upright, shoulders away from your ears. So belly button to spine is going to go back towards the spine. You're going to tilt your pelvis. Your chin is going to come in, and you're finding the C curve. And your elbows are going to come in and hug your head. So you're in this sort of exaggerated, I don't know, hiding position. Your spine is in that flexion, in that flexed curve. And then you're slowly going to straighten out, belly button forward, chest coming out, finding that neutral once again before we continue into that chest expansion. Your elbows are going wide just to deepen that stretch in your chest, and you're looking up towards the ceiling, and then you're bringing yourself back to start. So exhaling to round your spine into that cat position. Careful not to pull at your head. It's just your neck and your center initiating this movement. And then you're stacking back up before finding that chest expansion. And it's just the chest. You want to keep the ribs nice and soft. Let's just do one more like this. Should feel really, really, really nice. Finding that extension, elbows go wide. And then you're going to return to the start, return forwards, and then bring your arms back down. And we'll just have one last exercise. I'm gonna turn towards you just so you can see. So we're keeping our legs where we are. We're gonna bring our arms down to the side, just fingertips touching the mat. So you just sweep your right arm up, keeping them within your peripherals until they're reaching the ceiling. And then you're just gonna find that side bend, thinking up and over, both sitting bones planted firmly on the mat, so no bum is lifting. You're bending into your left arm, and then you're coming back up and bringing your arm back down. You're just gonna switch arms, sweeping up your left arm, and then finding that side reach on the right side, bending into the right elbow, left buttock firmly, sort of pressing itself onto the mat to keep it there. And then you're going to come all the way back up. Let's just do 2 more on each side like this. Again, taking your time. You should be enjoying the stretch that you feel in the sides of your body. And then one last one. Again, keeping your shoulders relaxed. You're really thinking of pure flexion, just to the side. Let's just do one last side. I was like, what side did we start with? And then you are all done. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat. So glad you were here with me. I hope you enjoyed it, but hopefully I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye, take care.